He feels good. He went out by himself this morning. I think he's going to go out with the team here for a little bit today. So I talked to him briefly yesterday. I know he's doing good.
Do you have a timeline on when you think he might be back?
No, I know he's going to go on the road trip with us to California. So he's doing good. I don't have any timeline, but he's doing very good, and I don't think he's that far away.
The team went 3-1-1 without him. Did that surprise you a little bit? And does it kind of change your impression of what you have here?
Did it? No, I don't think it surprised me. I think our team all year long, I think the coaching staff, Dave Tippett, is instilled a, they come to work every day. They check. They compete. The guys dig in, and obviously with Connor out, it was a great opportunity. Leon stepped up, and Nuge, and that line with Yamo, but two big goals out of Archibald. And so I'm not surprised. I think when you get injuries, it's an opportunity for other people. They're waiting for their chance to play more minutes and have a bigger role. And we thought we had good depth. Certainly, we've talked about Yamo coming up. The young players have played good. Last night, Jones played 18 minutes in the top four. Lagesson played 5 minutes on the penalty kill against one of the top power play teams in the league. So I think we've got better depth than I think maybe a lot of people thought.
When you started the season, I'm sure you had a picture in your head of what the trade deadline would look like for you.
Yeah.
But we're 5 days before. Your team's in first place. The Pacific's wide open. Mm-hmm. How much has it changed?
How much has
your
since when?
Since what you
since May?
Yeah.
Since June?
What you got today?
How much has it changed? I mean, I guess the day I took the job and I got the press conference, I think I said to everybody, my hope was that we were going to hit March the 1st and we were going to be playing important games, competing for a playoff spot, and that we could play our way in. We're probably a little bit above that. But a little bit. What are we? You can say we're first place in the division. We're also, I think, 5 points from being out. So it speaks to the parity in the league. How has it affected my thinking? I was a seller in Detroit the last 3 years, and I was a buyer at the deadline for many years in Detroit. You work the phones. We'll see. Will I see what I like? Would I like to do something? Yeah, you'd like to do something to pitch in. We'll see.
Do you look at the other teams in the division, and if they're doing something, okay, I got to do something, or do you look at your team and also say,
what?
I got to help them out?
You know what, Jim? I did that in my early years as a manager. There was us, Dallas, and Colorado, and it started. Sometimes it helps. Quite often, it doesn't help. So I think early in my career as a manager, yes, not as much today. I worry more about our team. I can't manage against what other teams are doing. I got to factor in the prices. What are we looking for? What do I think is going to make us deeper or better, and at what cost?
So how high is your ceiling in terms of price you would give up to help your team at this?
That's a good question. We'll answer that by Monday.
Your first round pick is out of play, however. Is it out of play?
Well, certainly in a rental. I'm not gonna trade a first round pick in a rental.
Is cap space your biggest concern?
Cap space is a concern, yeah, given where we are with all the. Well, I don't know it's a concern. Certainly, what's gone on with the injuries. If you don't put people on LTI, they're on the cap. So we're not. We're not. Connor's not going on LTI. Clef's not going on LTI. Cass is obviously suspended. He's on our roster. So. All those things do impact, to a degree, what we're able to do.
So the fact that your team has done well, Ken, with a significant amount of injuries to key players, does that impact your thinking, going into the trade deadline and potential moves for last year?
I guess I would say to you, you never really know what people can do until they're given an opportunity. And I certainly think that here over the last what are we, 12-4-3 the last 19 games? You come through Christmas, we got blitzed at home 5-1 by Calgary. We sat in the room for a couple of hours and we were trying to decide how we could kind of get back on track. We obviously made a decision to call up Yamamoto, and and all of a sudden you go so all of a sudden it's over 2 months. We go 12-4-3. I think that we're a little bit deeper now than we were 3 months ago, but part of it's the young players. Part of it is some of the players that we signed have come in and found roles. So, you're looking at the trade deadline, you're either looking for a big piece, you're either looking for, the right piece for the bottom six, or you're looking for, if you're going to go on long playoff runs, you're going to lose players along the way. You're going to play a playoff game every second night for 2 weeks, and then another 2 weeks you're looking for depth. So I'm not going to talk to everybody. There's teams, you look at the standings, there's teams obviously that are in the same place that we're at, and I'm not going to talk to them. But I've talked to 15 to 20 teams in the league, and I'm aware of what they're thinking. Very aware of who might be moved, possibly going to be moved here in the next 4 days. Some teams are waiting right till the end because they're looking at the standings and they're not sure if they're what they're doing at this point in time. So I'm going to kind of wait to make a decision, more so probably on the weekend.
If you could shore yourself up on the wing or down the middle of the ice for essentially the same cost, which would you view as a greater priority for this group the way it's structured?
You know what? That's fantasy hockey. Like at the end of the day, yeah, I wish I could. At the end of the day, it depends on what's available. What's available? What's the cost? And it's not like there's a whole bunch of wingers and there's a whole bunch of defensemen, there's a whole bunch of centermen, there's a whole bunch of offensive centermen, there's a whole bunch of defensive centermen. It's what's available and then what's the cost? And I guess what I'm trying to weigh in is when I was hired, to a 5-year deal, I wanted to come here, first off, assess what we got, and trying to build. I'm proud of the program that we had built in Detroit. It took some time to build a program, and you need that depth. You got to draft, you got to develop young people, and certainly some of the younger people have had a bigger impact here, way quicker than I had thought. So I got to decide. I'm trying to decide here over the next 3 or 4 days how active. Would I like to be active? Yeah, I'd like to be active. I'd like to pitch in. I'd like to do, the guys in that locker room have worked extremely hard, the coaching staff, to put us in this position. But I've also got to factor in, the cost. And we had just talked here, Jim had just asked, would you trade a first-round pick for a rental? I don't see me trading a first-round pick for a rental, but is there a price that I would pay? Yeah, there's a price I got to pay, but I don't have any specific, until I get on that phone, and you're working the phones and you're talking to your people. I talk to the coach, I get my gut instincts, and you eventually work your way to the decision that whatever you make.
Do you have to trade if you've got cap problems? Do you have to send out somebody making some money in any sort of deal so that it's somebody coming
Depends
in?
Depends how much is coming in.
Ken, what about Russell and Neil and their health? And you talk about LTI, you're not going to do it with Clefbaum.
You want an injury update?
Yeah, a little bit on those two. Do you expect them? How soon? And does LTI impact those two either?
Well, obviously we talked about Connor. Cass obviously has 4 more games to go. Neil has, I think, 2 to 3 weeks away from playing. I think that's the time frame. Russell, we're not really sure. I think he's getting better, but I don't really have a timeline for you on Russell. We've obviously talked Connor. Nygaard, I think, is getting his pin taken out of his hand this week while we're gone to California. So probably 2 to 3 weeks after he gets the pin taken out. Have I missed anybody? No.
What do you? And the resiliency and the culture of this team seems different than in years past. Is this a Ken Holland, Dave Tippett thing, or is this something that the team has kind of developed themselves, and it's the guys that are in that room?
I think first off, it's the coaching staff, and his relationship, and then obviously the leadership of the team. And I think that they've got roles. I think Tip has given them all. They know their roles. Everybody's got. Some have a bigger piece of the pie, some have a smaller piece of the pie, but they've all got their role, and they understand. They all seem to understand their roles, and I like that. I think that's why, as we've had these injuries, we've been able to compete. So, I think that's something that Dave Tippett worked on right from day one of the season. But certainly when we come here, when I talk to some of the players that have been here, they want to win. They wanted to win. I think they felt that we had good players here. I don't know what happened in the past, why it didn't happen in the past, but certainly the players are the guys that have really grabbed it, bought into the program that Coach Tippett has been preaching and selling, and I like our depth. I like what so far what I've seen. It's been it's where I think we've got a good. It's a good team. It's certainly, you need stars and everybody's got different roles, but everybody understands they've got different roles. Last night, Boston goes on the power play for 7 times. We did a great job on the penalty killing. So, different people, different nights need to step up, and I think that's been the key to the second half. This 12-4-3, the last 19 games.
Where's Puljujärvi's situation in here? Are you getting lots of calls on him, or are you throwing him out there in case he did a deal with his rights?
No, I haven't really shopped him, and no one's really asked.
If you were to, fundamentally leave this team as it is, what's your sense on what they might be able to accomplish kind of as a group as it sits right now? How?
I wish I don't know. I mean, that's why you play the games. You don't know. I mean, it's.
Do you feel confident this group can get you there?
Where's
as
there?
is?
Where's there?
Oh, say
The playoffs?
and
Well, I mean, we've gone 12-4-3. We did a trip through into Boston, into Toronto, into Buffalo, into Montreal. We've been into Tampa. We've been into Florida. We played Carolina. We got Boston home. We've played Calgary 2-3 times in that 19 games. Like we're playing good teams. So we've gone 12-4-3. We've had 5 games with Connor out. Cass was suspended once, 2 games. Now he's been out another 3 games. We've had James Neal out. People have stepped up. So I think, that's those are the questions as you go along. Those are the questions. So I can't tell you that all of a sudden you lose 5 in a row. You can play good in this league and lose 5 in a row. You can lose five close games, but we're finding ways to get points. That's what pro sports is about, and I think that's part of your DNA. That's what you're trying to develop as a hockey team. You're trying to develop that when people go down, other people step up, and but it's got to happen. And so far here over the course of the last January, February, the last 2 months, lots of that has happened. But I can't predict the future. We've obviously played our way into a good spot. Over the next 4 days, I got to work the phone lines and see if I can do something to help us a little bit, and that's sort of what I see.
Would you rather trade for a player who's going to be time left in his contract, or you still have his rights next year as opposed to?
Well, I think obviously.
Or does that make it harder to trade for those guys?
Well, it's more expensive, right? Are you talking about a player that's unrestricted versus a player that's got time?
Whether a year left in his contract, or he's going to be a restricted free agent next year, so you still have his rights.
Well, those people, I mean, you just have to see what's gone on over the last 3 days in the league. Certainly those players command a greater price.
And are you looking for a depth defenseman with the injuries to Clefbaum and Russell? A veteran.
Well, I mean, Clef's coming back, so, I mean, I would say we didn't talk about Clef. I think Clef is, I think if we'd said, 2 to 3 weeks, we're a few days in. I still think, based upon all the information that I've got, the timeline is correct. So, we're down to 2 to 2.5 weeks from when we think he's going to come back. I would say to you the earliest he's going to come back is we play the 29th home against Winnipeg Saturday. That's a no-go, and anytime thereafter, we're at Nashville, we're at Dallas, we're at Chicago. I think we're home to somebody, so I think that's the timeline when we expect him back. Nothing. I've heard no news to say anything different. So.
But if you're going to go into the playoffs, you're always talking like you never have too many defensemen.
Yeah, but I mean, but I mean, what's Laggy? 25 years old? Like it's not like Williams 20 or 21. You know, Jones is just 2.5 years pro. He played 18 minutes last night in our top four. Seems like we got, you know, obviously, you know, you've got Russell, you got Clefbaum. I mean, it seems like we've got pretty good defense depth. Would I look at doing something? Yeah, I'm also talking on D. I'm just looking for the right fit at the right price, factoring in the cap issues that we've got with the people that are the cap situation that we've got really 26 or 27 people on our roster versus where we're carrying 22 or 23. That's where I'm at.
Ken, do
Well, as
you,
an extension to what Ryan was asking, how do you view the fact that I think it's 11, 5, and 2 you are against teams ahead of you in the standings, and now you're going into a stretch against teams that are behind you in the standings, and you haven't done well against teams that are behind you. What do you see? Why? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a good question, Terry. I don't have an answer for you. You know, I would say some of that record that you're talking about is probably, you know, in October, November. You know, I think it looks like we're a different hockey team in February than we were in October and November. I think we're a little bit deeper, you know, and even some of the established players, you know, that have stepped up. So, you know, I throw October, you know. That's why I kind of talked about, you know, we're 12-4-3, and the teams that we've played in the last 19 games, you know, home and on the road, we've played lots of the best teams in the league. You know, I think in October, November, you know, I guess we were just trying to, let's get out of the gate. Let's, you know, even I was in Detroit for 22 years, put points on the board early on. It takes the pressure off. You get to kind of figure out if you have some injuries, you got the points banked away. And certainly we went to New York in October and we got out of the gate 7-2-1. We put some points on the board and we went 5-4-1, 5-4-1, and then we went 3-6-1. But the 7-2-1 allowed us to kind of survive the 3-6-1. Now you're at Christmas time. Well, if you keep going at 5-4-1, 5-4-1, 3-6-1, which is one game under 500 for 30 games, we'd play our way out. We were on the process probably of playing our way out of the mix. And then we went 12-4-3, and we've played our way back into the mix. So, you know, the team that we've got today, again, I think the thought process, certainly from my point and from Tip's, you know, let's get some points on the board in October. Let's get some points on the board. But over 6 months, you're trying to build a team. And we're trying to, you know, build some depth, and I think that's what's been going on. So, you know, Yamo being in the minors for the first half of the year, and Lagesson and Caleb Jones, well, those guys have now come up, and they've got 30, 40 more games of pro under their belt in the American Hockey League, and they're more ready for the challenges than they were in like September and October. So I think that record is a little bit different, just because some of it was we were just trying to get points on the board while we were trying to figure out what we had, and you know, I always use the word buying time. You're buying time for something good to happen, and certainly some good things have happened with some of our young players, and then, you know, some of the players that we went out and signed in the summertime. We signed 6, 7, 8. Some of them are in the lineup here on an every night basis, and some are in the American Hockey League. But we kind of expected that. We didn't know who was going to play their way to the American League and who was, but we hoped and believed that 3 or 4 could kind of become regulars and impact our team, and that's sort of what happened. So then, you know, that brings us here to 4 days before the deadline.
So what do you say about the way they've been doing things on the farm?
As far as, I mean, it's been a tough go down there. It's been, I think they're 10 points out of a playoff spot. Lots of their players are up here, so it's been a tough go. Certainly, you know, talking to Keith Gretzky and Bill Scott, we're, you know, unless they go on a 10-12 game, you know, win 10 or 12 out of 14, it doesn't look good.
But I mean the product they've
Oh, you're
provided.
talking, Jay Woodcroft. I mean, obviously, the job that they've done there has really impacted our team and the development of those young kids. Certainly, that's what the American League team, you know, the draft, player development, the American League team, ultimately, everybody's got a piece, and the job that Bakersfield and the coaches there have done has really impacted us up here.
Ken,
When
would
you're
you,
the GM of a team that's in a good spot in February, and you've got the likes of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, do you feel more pressure as a GM soft grade?
Well, I don't. I mean, I guess because I've been a manager for 23 years, I mean, I had some talented players in Detroit too, so, but I do understand you only get so many opportunities. Would I like to pitch in between now and Monday? I would like to. I probably would be a little disappointed if I'm not able to do something, but I don't know how big.
Kenny, ask you one last thing.
Last question.
Is the cap your biggest concern? If you had more cap room, would you be more comfortable if you have so little cap room that hamstrings stuff you can do? I get less than $1 million.
It depends on, you have to get creative.
Awfully creative.
Yeah.
Which makes
Well, you got creative, and then the teams we're working with have got to be
willing to take.
willing to creative with you. So I can't answer that question until Tuesday or Monday afternoon.
You'll be going right to the bidder at the end, though. You're not one of these guys that likes to make these deals before.
Well, I made Jamie McCown at 5 minutes to 3. He was in the second pair. 98, we won the cup. It was McCown and Rouse. I know Scotty Bowman acquired Larry Murphy, I think, at 2:30, 30 minutes before the deadline. Larry Murphy was a great fit for Nick Lidstrom. So sometimes you do them in advance, and sometimes it goes down to the last hour. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone. Nice chatting to you.